Sometimes on this channel, I like to make videos about my opinions on certain games. For the last 2 years, Tom Clancy's The Division has been the main game for me here on YouTube. The Division has had tons of growth over the past month or so, and I can see it growing even more in the months to come. With rumors of a sequel being worked on, I think it's safe to say that The Division isn't going anywhere anytime soon. However, I want to stress my opinions on the global events that started back in patch 1.7. These global events, if you don't know, are timed events that happen for a week straight that offer new commendations, mask rewards, and classified gear. The classified gear sets are the most sought out gear in the game, considering it has the highest base stats of loot in the game. That means the highest amount of firearms, electronics, and stamina that you can currently get. Each of these new classified sets, which are just upgraded versions of the original gear sets, offer new 5 and 6 piece bonuses. These 5 and 6 piece bonuses are extremely strong, seeing that this now allows players to live that power fantasy that a gear set should offer. However, these sets have kind of made all of the creative and unique builds useless. Now, this means all of the different hybrid builds where you could basically piece 2 gear sets together to make one powerful badass build. Although the 6-piece bonuses kind of make those really unique hybrid builds useless, the cool thing about it is that there are different versions of these 6-piece builds. For example, Striker's battle gear has 3 different levels of healing based on the amount of stamina you would like to invest. This causes a lot of different versions of the same build, which is great. However, I still think there needs to be other options just than the 6-piece bonuses themselves. I think this could be solved with new talents or even better versions of the high ends or exotics. The exotic gear currently is much lower, same thing with the high end gear, than the classified gear sets, which is the problem that we had back when gear sets first got added to the Division. Gear sets naturally had higher stats than the high ends, and it basically made all of the builds pretty much be around the gear sets themselves. It made, the high-end builds and many variations of different builds kind of useless. Gear set items became the only thing that anyone ever used. However, I don't want to direct this video towards why I think 6-piece bonuses are taking over the game. What I want to talk to you about is the future of global events and how I think they can be improved. Now, global events are the first place to get the new classified sets. After the event is over, the loot gets put into the overall loot pool, meaning you will be able to earn the sets just by playing the game from boss drops. However, this means that there are more sets that people are going to be sought out for, so I'm assuming that they're going to be upping the drop rates in the near future once these new gear sets get rolled out into those loot pools. So that means, after this event, you're going to be able to get all the new classified gear sets from any boss drop, gear caches, etc. I actually have a video in the description below that will tell you all the different ways that you can acquire classified gear in 1.8. So the events themselves are built around global event tokens. You can earn global event tokens through doing any activity in the game. However, there are 2 missions that stand out above all the rest: the Clear Sky Incursion and the Lexington Event Center mission. These have been ran through over and over since the first global event. In an attempt to keep players from only doing these 2 missions, they reduced the payout of these missions during the PTS, but players were just not having it. People felt like they should be able to earn the event tokens in any way they wanted to. However, a couple events later, people are starting to really get sick of running Lexington and Clear Sky over and over. I think instead of punishing players for running those 2 missions that are by far the most efficient, I think having one mission at random become the high priority mission, kind of like the way, if you remember, the search and destroy missions that you had to do in order to get target intel so you could do your HVTs. There was always one of those missions that would give you the most target intel compared to all the other ones. So it would give you reasons to do certain areas to kind of get you around the map doing other things. I think that having 1 mission per hour that switches on the hour would be a really good way to switch up the constant grind of getting global event tokens just through these 2 missions. It would be nice to do some of the other content that no one ever does because there's only like a hard difficulty version of that mission. Therefore, you only end up getting like 225 global event tokens, which is laughable compared to, you know, the 800-900 that you get from just running Clear Sky over and over again. You can even do Clear Sky in about 4 minutes if you have a really coordinated team, so it's almost useless to do any other content. That includes Underground, you know, Last Stand. Any other activity besides those 2 missions are just going to give you a lot less caches, and because the caches aren't guaranteed to get the new sets, especially if you're looking for a specific piece of a certain set, you're going to want to run Clear Sky in Lexington to get as many of those global event tokens as possible to up your chances of getting the sets that you want. Now, we're not entirely sure if there's going to be any future global events after this one. This one is technically supposed to be, you know, the last one that we're going to get. However, if they do ever do global events, whether it be in a sequel or more in this game, which I really hope they continue to add content to this game, I really want to see some more incentive to play some of the other content in the game, whether they need to boost the credits out of their mind in some of the other, you know, areas of the game like survival, and I know that's paid DLC, but I think they can do it through the base missions in the game as well. Give us reasons to play Broadway Emporium, give us reasons to do Rooftop Com Replay, give us reasons to play some of those missions that we haven't played since the first level 1 to 30 experience. So in the future, I really hope more effort goes into getting players away from those 2 missions. For the last 2 global events, I've been quite disappointed with the distribution of masks. Masks are cosmetic items that make your character look unique from other players. During the second global event, these masks began to be tied to certain commendations and activities during the event. I actually really love this idea because some of the masks were very hard to get. I really think they got this part right. There was one mask which was pretty easy to get that anyone could achieve just by playing during the event. The second mask was a little more time consuming, where you needed to complete all the active missions without any medical skills, which of course made it much more challenging since first aid and pulse are so commonly used. And the last mask was the most challenging of all. You needed to complete all the active missions without anyone on your team going down. Now, seeing that the modifiers allowed your enemies to do more damage from longer ranges, it made it extremely scary to fight that wave of snipers during Falcon Lost. We ended up doing it on our second try, but we had to modify our builds and think about strategy in order to complete it. This is how I feel like it should be. The last 2 global events gave all 3 masks away extremely easy. There was no challenge at all, and thus taking any type of real accomplishment away from getting them, which in my opinion kind of takes away the point of showing them off, which is exactly what they're meant to be. In my opinion, any cool cosmetic that is cosmetic only in a looter game is kind of a trophy to show off your dedication in the game and the accomplishments that you've made. I understand that people work full-time jobs, have kids, etc., but looter games are supposed to have special things for those who put the time and effort into it. And that's what I thought these masks were gonna be. Some people are gonna think I'm complaining, and that's okay. I just wanted to stress my opinions on the new global event, seeing that I have had an extremely hard time signing in during it. The modifier kind of, to me, is a little bit boring, considering that we're already forced to stand in one place, considering that hipfire has been absolutely nerfed into the ground and isn't really a viable way of doing damage anymore, considering you get reduced crit chance while hipfiring. Not only that, there's no reticule and the hipfire just sprays all over your screen. So really, the modifier doesn't really change much, except it allows you to do more damage, which we've already seen in so many global events before. I really like the idea behind the new modifiers. It's trying to get people to use cover, as the Division was initially meant to be a cover-based shooter. Not many people end up using cover, so I appreciate that they tried to make people do do that. However, I think there are way more creative ideas out there that would make the global events much more fun, that would kind of get us to change our builds around in order to overcome those certain modifiers. I think that was the coolest part about the second global event, is that we actually had to change our builds around a little bit. We had to throw on a little more toughness so that we didn't get one-shotted by the sniper NPCs. You know, we had to put a little bit more sustain on certain skills, because, you know, maybe we threw some health on kill on because we couldn't use any medical skills. Like, it was really cool in the second global event to have to change our builds around according to the modifiers that were active. With this global event, I don't really feel like you need to change your build around at all, and I think the masks are extremely too easy to get. But that's just my opinion. I really think in the future they could try some other better modifiers that would really change our build up. For example, maybe you have something where you get a percentage of the damage that you deal returned to you. So maybe you want to put more into something like self-preserved, or you every time you hit a crit, it does damage to your whole team, so maybe you have to switch your build up so that you don't have any crit chance. Like, just cool stuff like that that would allow us to play the game differently, and I don't feel like this event really did that for me. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop the video a like. Let me know what you guys think. Are you as sick of running Lexington and Clear Sky every single event like I am? If so, hopefully we can get this video out to the devs and they can come up with some ideas to get us playing some of the other content in the game. Give us reasons to play the other content, not just because we're super sick of it, but because it's actually as efficient as Lexington and Clear Sky. It would be great to see something like that in the future. And please, when there's 3 masks, have one mask be easy for everyone to get, have the second mask be a little bit more time consuming but something that anyone can achieve by playing, and have one of the masks be extremely difficult to get so that people like myself that have fully optimized builds, that have a ton of time to play the game, can help those who don't have that. There's some sense of accomplishment when you can help the rest of the community accomplish something that they wouldn't be able to accomplish on their own. And I think that having all 3 masks be super easy to get is just kind of a waste, in my opinion. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Like Butter. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.